Donald Trump is fiddling as the U.S. economy is burning. I'm Michael Popac, putting on my Wall Street hat right here on Legal AF. For those that know, I worked on Wall Street as a top lawyer for a number of years. I've got some insight here I want to share with you. Let's look at what's happening. Dow Jones and NASDAQ, all leading indicators of market health, are in the midst of a swoon. That's a nice way of putting the fact that it's been crashing since last month, at least, in response to Donald Trump's tariff war that he started on his own. Nobody told him to go after 40% of the trading partners with a tariff war that he can't win. And more importantly, the American people are the losers. You want to know about a tax cut? It's not going to be a tax cut. It's going to be a price increase for all Americans because of this tariff war. China, Canada, Mexico. What did they ever do? We're trying to fight fentanyl and fentanyl overdoses by putting the economy into a tailspin. Dow Jones and NASDAQ are down considerably. You'd think that this administration didn't have any relationship at all or understanding of Wall Street or economics. I mean, with all due respect, two of his leading cabinet members, Scott Bessent at Treasury and Howard Lutnick at Commerce, used to work on Wall Street. You would think they would understand it. I get why a middling real estate developer who never had a public company doesn't understand how markets work. And by any measure, his first economy was terrible as well, including putting turning off the American engine during COVID. But you would think that Donald Trump would understand that starting a tariff war at the same time that he fired a large sector of government workers who are consumers, right, and have paychecks, doing all that at the same time might have a terrible, deleterious effect on the U.S. economy. Traders and brokers on Wall Street, right, who are the most self-interested people I've ever met and the most purely economically driven, nakedly economically driven I've ever met, are running from this anti-business, anti-economy Trump economy. They're heading for the hills. They're shedding tech stocks and heading for the original blue chip safe staples from like 40 years ago to get away from Donald Trump. So all those tech bros and oligarchs with their giant yachts that were sitting up there in the family section with Donald Trump during the inauguration, who have given Donald Trump's family Amazon $40 million for a fake Melania documentary, millions of dollars from Facebook and Twitter and X and Meta and all of that, those are the stocks that are getting hammered. This is what happens when you say, oh, we're gonna buy a president. Elon Musk, just to show you how the economy is doing, Elon Musk, who's been thrown the keys to the economy and firing everybody because he's going to make the business of the U.S., even though it's not a business, run better. His own company's not running better. Tesla stock is down 40%. I would never buy a Tesla. When an Uber shows up and it's a Tesla, I'm sorry to the driver. I refuse to get in it because I won't support him in any way, shape, and form. But the stockholders are getting hammered because it reflects nobody wants to buy his car. Nobody, there's a badge of dishonor now with running around with Tesla or anything associated with Elon Musk. And so you should go take care of things at home before you take your show on the road and try to show America how you're going to F with our economy. The U.S. was doing just fine under Biden. Jobs up, stock market up, economy humming, GDP up, tax revenue up, oil and gas production up. Sure, I get that food prices have been up since COVID, but that's a function of a lot of other factors having nothing to do with President Joe Biden. And they're even higher now. I mean, I go shopping. I have a wife with an 8-month-old. I have to go shopping for the family. And I'm not even in whole paycheck, Whole Foods. I'm in a normal supermarket in my hometown. And I've got sticker shock. I've shopped at that market 10 years ago and now again because we moved back to this area. And the prices are 40% higher than when I left, at least. And I get it. That this impacts the paycheck, the kitchen table issues, the personal economic issues of people. But Donald Trump doesn't care about that. What sane, not insane person in their right mind decides to F with 40% of our trading partners, screw with Wall Street, send traders off into a tailspin. And now, and the thing that he loves, Donald Trump, is the thing that's doing the worst. Cryptocurrency. That's the canary in the coal mine. You could, if you're the crypto market, you couldn't ask for a better president than Donald Trump. He puts as the head of the Securities and Exchange Commission a crypto maven. He puts in the Treasury Department somebody that likes crypto. His Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, is up to his neck personally in crypto, or his companies are or were. I mean, I know he sold his companies off to his kids, but at least that's what it appears to be. But they're knee deep in crypto. Donald Trump knee deep in crypto. Barron Trump, his son, the 19-year-old at NYU, the Fredo of the family, he runs the whole crypto operation. The adult sons, Eric and Don Jr., running around Dubai and Saudi Arabia saying this is going to be a crypto golden era, strategic reserve going to be set up by this president. We're going to be the crypto capital of the world. You can hear the words as the economy falls off a cliff. And what's happened since the inauguration? When Bitcoin, which is one leading indicator of the health of cryptocurrency, hit its high, it shed 30% of its value since January 20th. Heading down to a crypto winter that's freaking out the crypto market. Who's freaking out over the tariff war that Donald Trump started. What's the old line that my grandfather used to use? Don't throw rocks at the prison. Right? Don't look for trouble. Things were doing fine. Sure, there was a slight imbalance of trade in the trillions of back and forth between Canada and the U.S., mainly because they're selling us energy that's really, really costly. But that doesn't mean you start a trade war over it. There's no fentanyl problem, drug problem coming out of Canada. There's no border problem with immigration at the Canadian border. Has anybody been to the Canadian border? I know Donald Trump doesn't like to travel, but has he ever been there? I have. Mexico, the whole Mexican siege and immigration, immigrants pouring into this country, that got resolved 2 years into the Biden administration. Those numbers were cut in half by the time Trump took office. Claudia Sheinbaum, the new president of Mexico, doing a great job on her side of the border. And we are in a global economy. And we can't screw with Mexico that builds a lot of our cars. Canada too, a lot of our technology. Elon Musk doesn't care about Mexico because his failing Tesla company builds its batteries and has a plant where? China. Right. So he doesn't care at all. So when you pull all this together, tariff war, China about to retaliate, world markets responding, other countries following Donald Trump's lead and tariffing China, China turning off the huge consumer base buying our products in China. China turns that down, turns that off. What we're watching is the world economy, including led by China, turning off the economic engine of America. I'll say this one more time, not to my audience, just in general. We, as an American people, cannot consume all of the goods and services manufactured by American companies or provided by American companies. We cannot. It's not just a matter of buy more America. With what? With what paycheck? With what money? With what 401k? With what Social Security? With what? We have to sell our goods outside of the United States for this economy to hum. You would think that Donald Trump doesn't understand at all what makes the engine of America flow. Why is he cutting off the fuel supply to the American engine? Why is he taking the U.S. out of the U.S. economy? Does he not? He also doesn't understand how much the investment of the U.S. government using our tax dollars into social services programs, state-run programs, not-for-profits. Those are all consumers. Those are all paychecks. And he just goes, cut, cut, cut. Let's just get rid of it. I was voted in on a mandate to shrink the government. No, you weren't. You were voted in on a mandate because people didn't want to vote for Kamala Harris based on a no primary system after Joe Biden decided to leave the race so late in the game. That's how you got in. We know how you got in. You know, you keep complaining about DEI. You got in on DEI. Trump. So he thinks he's got a mandate. Shrink the government all at the same time. By the way, even if I agreed with any of his economic or Wall Street policy, which I don't, why does it all have to be done within the first 5 weeks? Why? So they can make this mythical 100-day mark and declare how they've destroyed the American government? Why does it all have to be done at the same time? Why are we throwing caution to the wind? Let's cut foreign trade. Let's enter a trade war. Let's fire American workers. Let's get rid of U.S. aid all at the same time. And let's see what happens to the economy. Let's not do that. This isn't like a video game. You don't get to reset it and start again with the American economy. We saw what he did with the American economy in the first term, and yet he got returned to office. When Joe Biden came in, remember him? When Joe Biden came in, the engine was, you have like a cold engine during winter months and, the car hasn't been turned on in a while. Remember those? I remember those. The economy was dead. Engine dead. Needed to be jump-started with $3 trillion worth of stimulus money and government spending. That's what helps the economy. It's part of the pie chart of the economy. I know that Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, ran a very small hedge fund. I know that the Cantor Fitzgerald guy, Howard Lutnick, ran a family office with a couple of public companies. These guys don't understand the economy. Going on CNBC, and getting your forehead powdered and smiling, hi, everybody. This does not qualify you to pull the levers of power about our economy, and we're watching the results when it's amateur hour. This is the reason we don't run a lottery on an airplane to have seat number, 15J go fly the plane today. You win. You get to be the pilot. Great. We see what's happening in aeronautics in this country since Donald Trump took over as well. I'll continue to follow the crash of the cryptocurrency market, the fact that the Dow Jones and NASDAQ has shed 20 points since the middle of January to now. This is the Trump economy. And the more that Donald Trump I'm going to show you a clip now. Donald Trump, talk about fiddling while the economy burns. Donald Trump, it looked like a North Korean hostage video where people are forced to laugh at your jokes. Donald Trump sitting at the Resolute desk or another replacement desk. He's got RFK Jr. and Howard Lutnick, the Commerce Secretary, sitting there. And during it, he's handing out hats that actually say Trump was right. Trump was right about what? That he could crash the economy in 5 weeks? And everybody's laughing it up in there. Here's the clip.
Give me all of them. Look. Yes. See that? Trump was right about everything. It just came in. Somebody sent it. I said, this was sent in by a fan. I said, I think we should make some of them, right? But we were pretty much. You want one?
I'll pass.
Are you allowed to take one? Because he'll consider it. I know him well. He's sort of a stiff.
I said you were right.
Brian, you're not a stiff. He's sort of a stiff guy. He'll take other things, but not a free hand.
Always say yes to the president.
Welcome back. Nothing says I am oblivious to a failing presidency like Carolyn Levitt, the press secretary, saying everything's going along. When I hear her say everything's going just great, I know the Titanic just hit the iceberg. When I hear Donald Trump say Trump was right about everything, then the everything must have been crashing the American economy and hurting the American voter who all want their vote back. I'll continue to follow it right here on Legal AF. Hit the subscribe button. This content is driven by your involvement in the building of this channel. I can't put the connection any closer. Hit the subscribe button. It's free, but it helps us signals to the algorithmic gods that we're important, that we matter to you, that you want more of this content. That's how this thing works. We don't have any outside investors. Right? This is it. See this? I bought all this. The microphone, the camera. This is all me. Right? We need your support. People powered. Every day. Michael Popac reporting. I'm Michael Popac, and I got some big news for our audience. Most of you know me as the co-founder of Midas Touch's Legal AF and the Legal AF YouTube channel, or as a 35-year national trial lawyer. Now, building on what we started together on Legal AF, I've launched a new law firm, the Popac Firm, dedicated to obtaining justice through compassionate and zealous legal representation. At the Popac Firm, we are focused on obtaining justice for those who have been injured or damaged by a life-altering event, by securing the highest dollar recoveries. I've been tirelessly fighting for justice for the last 35 years, so my own law firm organically building on my Legal AF work just feels right. And I've handpicked a team of top-tier trial fighters and settlement experts throughout all 50 states known as big auto injury attorneys who have the know-how to beat heartless insurance companies, corporations, government entities, and their attorneys. Big Auto's attorneys working with my firm are rock stars in their respective states and collectively responsible for billions of dollars in recoveries. So if you or a loved one have been on the wrong side of a catastrophic auto, motor vehicle, rideshare, or truck accident, suffered a personal injury, or been the victim of medical malpractice, employment harassment or discrimination, or suffered a violation of your civil and constitutional rights, then contact the Popac Firm today at 1-877-POPAC-AF or by visiting my website at www.thepopacfirm.com and fill out a free case evaluation form. And if we determine that you have a case and you sign with us, we don't get paid unless you do. The Popac Firm, fighting for your justice every step of the way.